Hello, welcome back to Court Clips USA. I am Divinity, and this one's actually going to be about court. You might be watching the Sinister stabbing murder trial, Sinister stabbing boyfriend trial. I don't know what it's called, something about Sinister stabbing, where this guy is Toby Madden, and he is accused of stabbing his girlfriend 55 times. They live in Ohio. They've been together for a long time. Now, here's the interesting thing on the reason I clipped it. He is on day 3 of his trial. This morning he walked in and he was like telling the people, I haven't shaved in 4 days. They won't let me shave. What's up with that? I'm like, dude, who fucking cares? But whatever. So I clipped it. I was like, that's kind of interesting when the defendant's interacting with the gallery like that. We don't see that a lot. And as the day went on, I'm listening to the medical examiner. He's saying, we took a picture of her face for identification purposes, and also in this particular case, because
also documents that there is an injury on her nose that can be visualized here.
Okay. 180, please. And tell us what we're looking at in State's Exhibit 180, please.
Okay.
Okay. If anyone cannot compose themselves in the courtroom, then they're going to need to leave the courtroom. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Vaughn.
Okay, so keep in mind we're on day 3. So the chat thinks that is the victim's daughter, who just burst out with bastard while showing the victim's face with an injury to it. Interesting. I thought, wow, you also don't see that a lot, so I'm clipping that as well. Now, mind you, we're on day 3. This is my first day watching it, but I'm interacting with chat. They're the best. They always have something to say, something informative. And they start talking about, like, why are we even here? This doesn't make sense. And I say, so what's the defense? And they tell me that the defense says that some city workers or someone there, I think at the home to do something with the gas, must have done this. Let me go back to the beginning from here. This outburst happens on day 3. Let me show you how the entire thing started. This is day 1. They're walking into the courtroom. The volume's off. They'll kick it on in a moment.
All rise. Court please back in session.
Okay, please be seated. Okay, we're back on the record in State versus Madden, CR 22-121675. The jurors are not present at this time. Counsel for the state, Mr. Burris and Mr. Hahn are present, along with Detective Horton, and Mr. Madden appears in person with counsel, Mr. Wilder.
We would object to that.
Listen, I don't want to object to anything. I want to, this is my family that I love.
Listen, I don't want to object to anything. This is my family that I love. And listen.
Yes, I'm responsible for what happened to her. I didn't mean it.
Judge, are we recording?
I believe we are.
I'm so
Can we go off?
We need to take a recess?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a recess and
I
we'll,
love you. I don't want you to hate me. I don't want you to hate
And there goes the volume for that. Okay, so this is how this trial starts, with dude seeing his family in court, breaking down, talking about, I don't want to object to anything. I'm sorry I did this. I didn't mean to hurt her. I love you. I'm sorry. I don't want you to hate me. His attorney goes, are we recording? The judge is like, yeah, buddy. We're going to need to stop that. Okay, so that's how day one starts. So obviously that doesn't mean shit about shit because he doesn't change his plea. Nothing changes. His lawyer just tells him to shut the fuck up in no uncertain terms. We're getting you out of this, which is a very interesting play from the lawyer. You think he'd be like, well, Your Honor, after my client's confession, I feel like I'm going to take a little break from this forever or something. I don't know. Let's keep listening. So on day 2, they end up showing this to the jury because the jury wasn't in the room for that. They didn't get to see it or hear it or anything. Similar to the Rust case, if you watch the Rust trial, there is a detective sitting at the state's table. I thought it was weird in Rust. I didn't notice it. Chat told me, like, it's weird that there's somebody sitting there. And I was like, you know what? That happened in Rust. The good news is because he's sitting there, he witnesses this, and he's going to testify on day 2 to what he saw in front of the jury. Let's watch it.
It's our assertion that defense counsel is interpreting what happened yesterday in a different light than the state is, and it's for the jury to decide. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, if I may.
Sure.
Yesterday, what happened in court was Mr. Madden, while it was on TV and what he directed towards his family at that moment, it was, that was an unusual circumstance. Suffice to say, the objection wasn't made at that point because I wasn't for sure exactly what he was doing over here. But the reality is we do have video of it once I did review it. We're not going by what was said. What was repeated by what Mr. Madden said. The problem was the motions that were made, the straightforward motions, 3 in a row, slowly, deliberately, with pen pointed out, because that is not even close to what Mr. Madden did.
This is the detective.
And as we were gathering to come into the courtroom to give opening statements, the jury was not in the courtroom.
Correct.
Did you see an interaction between Toby Madden, the defendant, and Caleb Madden and other family members in the back of the courtroom?
Yes, sir, I did.
So describe what it is that you saw and heard.
Mr. Madden stood up. They were referring to his daughter, Michaela. While speaking, he started speaking out loud, turned towards her, and he said that I'm responsible for what happened to her. I didn't mean it. I love you. Don't hate me.
We would object to that.
Listen, I don't want to object to anything. I just want to, this is about family that I love. And, listen, yes, I'm responsible for what happened to her. I didn't mean it. Listen, yes, I'm responsible for what happened to her. I didn't mean it.
Wow. Can you imagine confessing on day 1? What in the crap? Okay, so now we're on day 3 and the medical examiner is explaining to them what happened. But there's another part in day 3 that I thought after day 1. Okay, so you know what? I am just going to show this. So this is extremely graphic. Well, I don't even know extremely graphic is the word. It's an organ that used to be in someone and it's not anymore. The medical examiner took it out. Didn't come out in any weird way, but it is out. Half the chat didn't mind it. Half the chat absolutely minded it. So it will be on the screen. The purpose of this is to show how deep the victim was stabbed.
And what are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 199?
This is the heart.
And what's significant about this, about the heart here?
Well, there's a few penetrating injuries from the stab wound. Again, holding the forceps here is like a big pair of tweezers, showing that there is a hole there. And there's another injury down here on the lower aspect of the right ventricle. Right there. Those are the two that you can see right there.
He's about to point out just lower extremities, how many wounds there are. Stab wounds.
You want me to start pointing out stab wounds?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
So all these things,
23,
these little dots were clearly stab wounds.
23 stab wounds. Now listen, we're on cross. This is the defense for the man who confessed 2 days ago. Listen to what the attorney is going to ask the medical examiner regarding 55 stab wounds.
That the person who has a stab wound is approaching the person who may have a knife, and there may be some sort of physical altercation going on between the two of them.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but I mean, certainly that's a possibility.
With some of these wounds, these stabs, these cuts, these scrapes, if a person were to have a small pocket knife in their hand and maybe using it themselves, is it possible that they could cut themselves?
Well, the location of where some of these wounds are in their orientation, I would find that kind of hard to believe that these were, what you're saying, self-inflicted wounds?
I didn't say self-inflicted. Let me, hypothetically, you and I are in an argument and I have a small pocket knife in my hand and I may try to move it towards you. And in the process, I miss you. I could cut my hand on my own in that scenario, can I not?
I guess that's a possibility.
Okay, so what do you think about that? To me, that's bizarre. I don't know how this attorney can sleep at night knowing that he's defending someone who confessed. He knows all the intimate details about all of this, and he's trying to put this guy behind, not behind bars, but on the streets with the rest of us. Crazy nonsense. So Ohio lawyers are living up to their reputation of being potentially cucked.